Hi, this is Z, and this is my podcast. Let me clear my throat. Um, I'm gonna kind of try to do what I did the last couple of episodes, and that's just pretty much wing it. Just open mic, no script, nothing typed up. Just my computer, my mouse, and me, basically. um, I usually have tried to have things scripted out, look up things, pull resources, have something specific to talk about. Um, but here lately, I just have felt like, a lot of times I put a lot of hard work. I mean, I always put a lot of hard work into it, actually looking things up and whatnot. But um, then I kind of find out that sometimes when I talk about things, I go off script a lot. And just try. I have that. I guess the thing of it is that when you call into um, automated services, if you will, um, you just want to talk to somebody. You go through all the buttons, and I don't know how many times I'll call, like, let's say Xfinity, for instance, um, because their customer service sucks. Their customer service line automated thing sucks so bad. Um, I was on there the other day. I had talked to my other podcast before about that horrific, tragic accident that was out front, and our cable and our electric all was ripped out of the house, and we finally got our cable hooked in, and so I'm calling into them, and I'm trying to get a hold of somebody to talk to explain to them that they needed to come out and hook the service back up because they had the line hooked, but it wasn't hooked to the pole. It was just rolled up in a circle, whatever, if you will, and just laying there. So I call in, and I told the automated thing like 4 or 5 times I just wanted customer service, and they have this thing where it's just like, maybe, more or less saying, maybe you need to check your router and reset your router. Do you want to set your router now and call back in 15 minutes if it's not working? And then I yelled at the phone several times, no, because it kept repeating itself, basically. And one time I said no, and she said, resetting it now, and then said, call back in 15 minutes, goodbye, and hung up. It's just really nice to talk to a human being. I feel for one, it's very more personal, it's very self-efficient, but it's also um, human interaction. We are so into automated machines and automated this and debit cards and electronic this and whatever. And my thing is this. Back when they were supposedly had a corn shortage, you're gonna have a corn shortage if you don't withdraw any money out, because you're not gonna have any coins. It's all electronic. And it's easy to have things electronically, but I personally like to have cash on hand. I like to know the money is in my pocket, because let's say hypothetically, everybody withdrew their money out of their bank account and actually had cash. Would the government really have your money, everybody's money in the bank account? Would the funds actually really technically be there? Or do they just maneuver money around electronically and just make the numbers look good? Like, yeah, it's here, knowing that the chances of somebody withdrawing all of that money out at one time is very slim to none. Let's say, like, for instance, Walmart. We'll pick on Walmart. So everybody is like, Walmart. They you can do like the drive up and get your stuff out, taken out there, whatever. Now, or you can order on Walmart.com, or you can go in, or whatever you want to do. So you got all these people doing all this electronic stuff. So they're moving numbers around in the bank to the Walmart bank account, back and forth, whatever. And yes, it maneuvers your cash out, per se, number-wise. And then it moves the numbers into another account number-wise. What are the odds of Walmart actually saying, you know what, I'm going to withdraw all of my money out of my bank account and close it and have cash in hand? Would it really exist? Or is it just a bunch of numbers? Is it just a bunch of computer-generated numbers maneuvering and going back and forth everywhere? Are we getting so codependent on being electronical that we're taking away the real? So that then depletes the value of an actual money, per se, like the actual dollar, the actual change, does that then deface it? Or not deface it, but devalue it? Because if I go in there and I pay cash, which you go and pay cash, the cash is there. You have it in your hand. But if you put your card in there, then it's a matter of just electronic numbers being moved around. There's no cash being exchanged hand to hand. The bank isn't going and taking going to your bank account, taking cash out, running to Walmart's bank and putting the cash in. It's a matter of going onto the computer system and moving numbers around. There's no actual cash being exchanged, if you will. It's the numbers that are being exchanged. Does that make sense? I mean, it does to me, but... So let's say, hypothetically, we all are dependent on this electronic service that we're so hell-bent on being now. How vulnerable are you? How vulnerable is your account? How vulnerable is your information? I don't know. I think about stuff like this. I don't know. It's just things that weigh on my mind. Because all since this whole... I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the word. And telepathically, I've already said it. I call it the Corona. But the Corona. And not to be mixed with the one with the lime or the lemon. I guess, some people probably need to have one after all that. But I have a lot of opinions where that is concerned. Very, very heavily. Coming from the biohazard world that I have been in my life. Because I worked in, I've talked about in other podcasts. Used to clean crime scenes for a living. Worked in the lab. Taught biohazard safety. And all that stuff. And I'm very vocal on it here at home. I've had extensive conversations with my friends and my mother, and I'm almost opinionated about it, really. No, I honestly, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't opinionated on it, because I am. Now, and I understand the sensitivity of it. I mean, I do. I really do. So please, by all means, I'm not trying to hurt anybody that have been really affected by the illness of it, because the illness has affected people in different ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. Everything's shut down, and everybody quarantined. Supposedly people try to have more family time together, but yet need to stay away from each other, but yet we're more electronically based and less human based. Everybody was working from home. School was being done at home, electronical. People were buying things, having things delivered. DoorDash became popular, door service, Instacart, whatever. Amazon, everything electronic. And everybody out there wearing masks. Where before going, you would see signs up, no mask can be worn, especially around Halloween time. Or if somebody walked into a store back in the day with a mask on, people would freak out, if they couldn't see their face. Especially if they had those one masks that covered your face or whatever with the hat and whatever it was. So now that's the norm. So, and then also you got, your facial recognition and what like that. That's kind of depleted if your face is covered. So then you got these people out there where it's acceptable, to walk around with these masks on and stuff. And people are where everybody knows they are. They're at home. They're quarantined. They're at home quarantined with their electronic devices, their debit cards, their credit cards. Everything is electronic. The schoolwork's electronic. Work is electronic. Buying things are electronic. Then your banking is electronic. Paying your bills is electronic. Buying food is electronic. Everything is electronic. Has anybody ever really stopped to think about that? That is notorious. I'm not saying notorious. That's not the word I want to use. That is very big vulnerability. That's the word I'm looking for. Vulnerability. We as a country, but as human beings, are very vulnerable to the electronic system. Because while everybody's at home quarantined, while everybody's at home doing their electronic things, you think there aren't people out there taking advantage of their skills or their wannabe skills, if you will, respectfully, that now can wear a ski mask and it be acceptable and go out and do what they need to do in the world? And nobody would even know it? A whole new form of a lot of things. Hacking, terrorism, bullshit. Honestly, some things just straight up bullshit. My thought is, and I apologize, I really do, for anybody that's went through anything with the corona. I'm not trying to be insensitive to you, so please, respectfully, please don't feel that I am. I'm just trying to say I've been looking at all angles. I've been affected by it. I'm allergic to. I'm okay. When I used to get the flu shot, I would get sick. And the flu shot, I was told, had egg whites in it. I'm very allergic to egg whites. And it's a live virus. People say, no, it's not. They have to inject it in there for your body to build up antibodies in order to fight the bacteria, if you will, the viruses of whatever, of the flu. And your body has to build up an immunity to it. That's what keeps you from getting sick. And if your body doesn't know what to build an immunity up from, then how can it build up the immunity? So it has to be injected, if you will, in order for your body to build up the resistance to that. Well, I worked at a mental health hospital when the corona was out. And they wanted me to get the flu shot. And I'm like, I don't want the flu shot. I get sick from the flu shot. Now, you can't get sick from. I know I can, because I do. Don't tell me I can't. I hate when people tell me, when I know that I do, and I know it, and somebody tells me, no, you can't. Yes, I can. But then she said, well, they did the flu shot differently this year. They made it different this year. And I'm like, why would they make the flu shot differently? Now, and I understand you build up your immunity and stuff or whatever. Then, you have additional bacteria and viruses in the air and different elements of the world and blah, blah, blah. And it causes different things for your body to catch, if you will, and you get sick. It's just a more version of the common cold. My opinion. Well, so that particular year, they changed the flu shot. Why, I don't know. And then Corona broke out. And I did get the flu shot that year, and I did not get sick from the flu shot. Excuse me. I have so many opinions on this. So I did not get sick from that. Okay. Now, mind you, I have had the corona, in the past. I had it twice. That was confirmed. Okay. And, I know I've talked about before when I was home sick when my stepdad died. I had the corona is why I was home from work at that time. I was due to go back on my quarantine. And, so I mean, I have been sick from it. Okay. To me, the corona is the flu on steroids. And I say this because it is the same symptoms, the same kinds of stuff, just a little bit more potent, if you will. And when I was getting treated, they put me on steroids and allergy medicine. So I say it's a flu on steroids because it's just a more intense flu. But they changed the flu shot that year. Now, everybody wants to blame China, okay? I don't know how I'll justify it, because if anybody knows me, I don't watch TV. I don't keep up with the news. I didn't even know who the president's name was for a long time, because I don't watch news and listen to TV, and I don't listen to all that stuff. I don't, okay? So this is just me learning as I go, because my daughter actually would have to call me and say, yeah, there's a thing called the corona out, Mom. You're going to have to start wearing a mask, and I'm like, what? Why? And she would explain it to me. Or she would say, well, they're doing away with the mask now. Now they're bringing it back. She would let me know, because she knew I didn't keep up on it. Well, when they do the testing, okay, let me back this up. Okay. So, everybody wants to blame China. Supposedly China gave this to us. Now, let's hypothetically, for argument's sake, say this is true. Okay? Scenario. Did you know that the flu testing kits that you get and vaccines and some other stuff that are associated with the corona, guess where they come from and are manufactured from? Do you want to take a guess? China. Not all of them, but some of them. Look it up. Look it up. Do your research. Straight out of China. Now, everyone wants to talk about, what is it, Temu? I think that's Temu, or whatever, that order stuff online thing. That Temu is based out of China, or gets stuff from China, or whatever. Okay. Let's hypothetically say this is true, for argument's sake. Do you know where you shop at that probably almost 100% of everything in there, maybe, comes from? The Dollar Tree, the Dollar Plus store, whatever it's called nowadays. It comes from China. The Dollar Tree. Where you get things now for $1.25, and some things $3 and some things $5. Depends on which aisle you go down to and what side of town you live on. China. Now, let's take this another scenario, different direction, okay? Do you think the United States is innocent on shit? Pardon my speech. But do you? I mean, honestly? Can you imagine what other countries say about us? What if China sat back saying, yeah, the United States brought us the corona. The United States started it. Oh, guess where we get all of our stuff from? We get our stuff made in the USA. They're the ones that gave us the corona, but we import stuff from them. Why are we doing that? We get a lot of our test strips and a lot of our stuff in the United States. Why can't we keep stuff in our own country? Why do we have to send stuff? And I understand, it's all about the trading and all that, the mighty dollar, blah, blah, blah. The mighty dollar of numbers electronically, okay? Because I assure you the government is not saying, oh, we're going to take your money out of your bank account, we're going to put it on an airplane, and we're going to fly it over to the other country, and then we're going to put it in their bank account and hand them cash. No, it's all about numbers. I mean, really. Do you ever stop and think about that? I mean, and then let's talk mask, okay? And I've been waiting to talk about this subject, and this is just all me talking off the top of my head, because this is conversations I have with my mom and other people, my friends and stuff. So like these masks, okay? I am from the biohazard world. I've worn respirators. I've worn masks in the OR. I've worn masks in the lab. I've worked under the hoods. I've taught, biotechnology, safety training, and biohazard training. The double gloving. You double glove because if one glove rips, your other one there is to protect you. Double glove. You don't single glove in biohazard world. You double glove. You put one glove, put your gloves on, then you put another gloves over top of those. You double glove. You don't keep your gloves on and do this, that, and the other. You don't go shopping with your gloves on. Touch everything in there. Touch your hair, touch your phone, touch your kids, touch the shelf, touch this item, touch that item. Go through the checkout, run your card, do your groceries, put your stuff in your car, drive with your steering wheel, go home, unload your groceries and stuff with all the same pair of gloves on. You just cross-contaminated everything. In the biohazard world, when you work with a biohazard, you change your gloves between each job, is the way I was taught. You change them periodically. You don't cross-contaminate. You're going through, let's say hypothetically, argument's sake, you put your gloves on, your single layer gloves, not your double layer. You go into Walmart or whatever store you go into, and you're walking around the aisles and you've got your gloves on if they fit you correctly. And you're going around the store, you're touching these items that other people are touching with their gloves. Let's hypothetically say everybody's got gloves on. Nobody's got their bare hands. Everybody's got gloves on, okay? So I'm over there touching the milk with my gloves on. And I pick up a gallon of milk. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a half gallon. I'm going to put this gallon back. So I put that gallon of milk back. I'm in the freezer, okay? Refrigerator. Put that back and get the half gallon out. And then I'm going to, and then say, I don't know. Some dude beside me is like, ew, I'm going to get that gallon of milk. So he reaches in and he gets that gallon of milk that I just had on my gloves. And then he goes over and he goes and looks at eggs. And I go over and I look at cheese. And then somebody else comes over and they're looking at yogurt. We all got gloves on. He gets eggs. He's looking through them, and, should I get this many? Should I get that many? He's looking to see, let's open them up because we want to make sure none are broke. So we got to check them, So we're opening the eggs up. We're checking them. We're making sure they're not broke. Hey, we might find a broke egg here. Or maybe we didn't want this small egg because they come in different sizes. So I'm going to put this one back. I'm going to get this one. No, maybe I'll go ahead and get no, this one here is cheaper. So then he decides on his eggs. He's going to touch 4 different cartons. Lady from the yogurt, she's over trying to find her flavor and she's searching through. Everything's scattered everywhere, so you don't really know what's what. You're trying to find the price. You're looking. She finally decides on something. I'm over there getting my cheese. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I probably should get some eggs too. So I walk over and I'm gonna get me some eggs. And I'm like, oh hey, yeah, I'll get these eggs. They're small, but my recipe I can use small. I don't, because I'm allergic to egg whites, so I don't really need big eggs, which I do get big eggs and I pay for it because I that's a whole different story. Anyway, and then so I'm like, well, I don't want no yogurt. I'm not a big yogurt fan. So we all go about our business. Now I go down this other aisle. I'm not a chip eater, but my mom is, okay? She wants me to get some chips. So I go and I'm like, what kind of chips do I get? So I'm looking at the chips. I just said, okay, I'm going to get these chips. Now I'm short. I'm 5'1/2". And so I have to reach, I have difficulty reaching high shelves. So, there's chips up there and I'm looking, okay, it's all the way to the back. I can't reach this. So then I have to be a monkey. And I have to climb back there and get, a bag of chips or whatever out. Well, and the guy comes up, heaven forbid, he gets 6 feet close to me, right? Do you need help, ma'am? Do you need me to get your chips down? Yeah, sure, that'd be great. Thank you very much, because I can't reach them. This is the last bag. They're all the way in the back. So he reaches back and he gets my chips. Thank you very much. Go about my business. Now I go into another aisle. Say I'm looking at canned goods. And I'm like, okay, well, you get this, and this. And I mean, people over there, we're all looking at different things. So then I'm like, okay, now I need to go to produce. Now I'm going to go to produce. I'm going to check my produce. I'm going to pick my produce. I'm going to look at it. Yeah. Do I need to feel it? Do I need to knock on it? Do I need to check, see if it's, discolored? Checking my produce out. And then I'm thinking, okay, no, wait a minute. I forgot. I need to go over and see if they've got this really cool gift that I want to buy my mom, because say her birthday's coming up. So I'm going to head over into domestics and I'm going to look at their bedding. So I walk over to their bedding and I'm looking through their bedding. I'm looking through their towels and I'm looking through, I'm trying to find that perfect gift, Oh no, maybe I'll go over to housewares and look. And then, oh, wait a minute. My dad needed something. What was it he needed from the auto section? Oh, let me call him real quick and ask him. So I get my phone out. And I'm calling him and I'm asking, hey, what was it that you needed? Oh, okay, let me go over and see if they got it. So I'm going over there and I'm looking. Yeah, they had it. It wasn't really the one I wanted, but yeah, I'll get it, okay. And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute now. My daughter, she was asking about a pair of shoes. And my other daughter, she wanted this Barbie doll. So I go over to the shoe department and I'm looking through their shoes and I walk over to the toy department. I get my daughter this doll and I'm like, okay, I've got enough in my cart. My cart is overflowed. I got to get this through the checkout before my ice cream melts because, I had to stop and get ice cream. So I'm going to go to the conveyor belt and I'm unloading everything. And these people in front of me, they just went by, They just did their big old checkout. So I'm unloading everything all on the cart. And then my mom calls. Hey, can you pick me up at Candy Bar? Yeah, sure. I'm right here in the checkout line. Let me reach over here and get you a candy bar. What kind do you want? So I get get her a candy bar. When I put my phone back away. Go to the checkout, ringing my things up, doing my thing, bagging everything, putting it in the cart, Then, okay, now I need to reach down in my purse or in my pocket, which I don't carry a purse, but I'm getting my pocket or whatever, dig my money out. So I get my money out, count my money, because I'm doing my change. I'm not doing my debit card. I'm going to do my cash. And they have a change shortage, so I'm going to count some of my change out, too, because I have some change, because I'm trying to help the world put some of my change back into the world, So we don't have a change shortage, because they're short on change. So I'm counting all my money out, and I'm doing this, that, and the other, and I'm bagging my stuff, and I got my receipt printed out, whatever. Now I'm going to go out to my car, and I'm going to unload everything in the back of my car. And while I'm at it, I remembered I bought some donuts, so I'm going to eat a donut on the way home. And I need to stop and pick me up something to drink. So I'm going to stop over here at the gas station. I got to get gas anyway. So then I load everything in my car. Excuse me. I go over to the gas station. I go to the attendant. I got to get back in my pocket. Yeah, mind you, I drove over there. Still wearing my gloves. Because safety, right? So I get back in my pocket, my money out, and I hand the money to the attendant. I'm like, okay, now I go get gas. So go over to the gas and pump on my gas or whatever. Get back in my car, driving my 10 and 2, hands on the steering wheel. And then I'm like, oh, I remembered I need to get me something to drink. So I pull over to the fast food place, go through the drive-thru, you know, because everything's drive-thru now. Nobody wants to be in contact inside, so we have to go through the drive-thru. So I'm going to drive-thru. I'm sitting there. I want some drinks. So then I got to dig back in my pocket. Oh, wait a minute. I got some change here in my change holder right here. Let me get my change out. So I'm digging through my change holder, get my change out, hand it to the attendant. You know, they've got gloves on too, so we're okay because we both got gloves on. So then I'm exchanging change with her or whatever. I get my drink she hands to me. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going home. Now I'm going to eat my donut. So I reach in and get my food out to eat my food, drinking my drink. You know, trying to drive, whatever, you know, trying to be safe. I get home. Now I got to unload my groceries. So I go out there, I get all the groceries. Bring them in the house. I unload them all. Still got my gloves on, you know, safety, because I don't want to touch all that food that was in the store. You know, that other people touched. So I'm unloading it all. And I'm putting it all back in the cabinets, putting the milk up in the refrigerator, putting the cheese up, putting the eggs up, putting the chips in the bin. Because, you know, I open the chips up to put them in the bin. Yeah, putting the ice cream up, put my produce away. Oh, hey, darling, here's your Barbie doll. Here, babe, here's your shoes. Here, Dad, here's what you needed. Here, Mom, here's your candy bar. And, you know, what you needed. Oh, I need to go put my phone on the charger because my phone's dying. So I gotta go on there. Oh, wait a minute, I remember I gotta take my gloves off. You know, I didn't want to touch anything while I was in the store, you know, with my bare hands. So I'm gonna take my gloves off and just throw them in the trash. Regular trash, no big deal. What did I just do? I cross-contaminated every single thing I touched and brought it home. And guess what my kids with their bare hands are going to do? They're going to touch that food too. Guess what you're going to do when you prepare that food that you get out of that refrigerator with your bare hands? That same food that had to be worn with them gloves. In the meantime, you touched your phone, you touched your money, you touched your pocket, you touched your clothes, you touched your steering wheel, you touched the people that you were crossing back and forth with, and you brought it all home. But you had your gloves on. So, yeah, there's that. Now let's take a step further with the mask thing, okay? Do you know that it's dangerous to breathe your carbon dioxide? They tell you that you shouldn't sleep with your head under your blanket for a long time because you breathe in carbon dioxide. And that can kill you. Do you know when you wear a mask what you're breathing in? Your own air, carbon dioxide. Do you know that those masks, the real, you know, cloth ones that are made of like a t-shirt, they have zero protection? Zero. Nothing. Not a zippo. Nothing. So when they do the studies to do the virus shot, if you will, they do those shots based off of data and information on masks and information that they have of although what data? What relatively concrete data are they using? And if it is such a big biohazard, why wasn't the whole government supplying everybody gloves, masks that work, training, bio boxes everywhere? And I mean everywhere. Instead of handing out stimulus checks to people, they need to be handing out the proper PPE equipment and training. You see people throwing stuff on the ground. Gloves, masks, whatever. Where are all the bio boxes? If this is such a huge biocontaminating thing that is so dangerous that it's shutting the whole country down and quarantine everybody to where everybody's got to be electronically confined at home, and please don't get near me to give me a home or a hug, and oh, I can't go to my loved one's that's in the hospital, or I can't go to my loved one's funeral. I can't go to my loved one's wedding. I can't go to we have to have a virtual baby shower, virtual wedding shower, virtual birthday party. We have to do everything virtually because, everything is so bad and contaminating. Really? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that there are a lot of people that got sick, have died. My condolences to you. I'm not trying to be insensitive. The problem is not with us as a society. Don't be so quick to believe everything you hear and read from the government. Don't be so quick to judge. Actually, don't judge at all. To blame other countries for what might very well be part of our fault. Do we really know, or are we just going based off of what we're told, what we've read, what we've heard, what we did? Do we really know? And if let's hypothetically say China is the culprit, okay? Why are we still trading with them? Why are we still receiving product in from them? Why are we still shopping at all these places, made in China, made in wherever? Where do we see them? Made in the USA? Probably in another country, but not here. Very few and far places. And we wonder why things get into this country. We have enough problem containing our own country that we're too busy to point fingers at other places and other people and blaming other things. We need to look at ourselves. We talk about shut the borders down. You know what? No, it ain't a matter of just shutting the borders down. It's a matter about doing the right things when the borders are open. And understand that the border goes both ways. We got drugs coming in the country. We got all kinds of stuff. But you know what? It goes out too. We need to look at us as a whole, but we need to also use our own, this is a very big subject for me. I'm sorry. And if anybody has said it on my podcast, I've explained when I get passionate about something, I am trying to very much contain myself, and I want to come up out of the seat because I heard that the corona is trying to make a comeback. It's trying to make a comeback? Really? Nowadays, if you stub your toe, you got the corona? No, I stubbed my toe. You got allergies. You got the corona? No, I got allergies. I had allergies before that was even thought of. What about the H1N1, mad cow? What are the other ones that were in the past? The bubonic plague. Things, E. coli, AIDS, hepatitis. There's things everywhere. Just because people aren't talking about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist anymore. And we're going to try to put everything electronic, and we're worried about this world? Yeah. Because you know what you just did? You just made and not on purpose. Maybe I need to reword that differently. Vulnerability. Our government is making us vulnerable to each other, to our other countries, to our own country, to ourselves. Lack of knowledge, lack of education, but lack of support. And I'm still waiting on my stimulus checks, by the way. I haven't gotten a single one of them. Not one. And I filed that don't file your tax thing or whatever to get stimulus. I still haven't got any of mine. Not a one. Nope. So, hey, hope everybody enjoyed theirs. You know why they did that? Because everybody was being quarantined. They want to put money back into the back into the system or whatever, you know, and recycle, if you will. I'm sure it was a really great thing. I hope everybody spent their money well. I would love to have some, because I'll tell you what, I sure could use it. I need a car right now. I would love to have my stimulus money to be able to have a car, because my heat's out on my car. My tires are bald. I take care of my mom full time, which everybody, you know, I've talked about. And, oh, by the way, I got a raise from the government, you know, because I get a stipend check from them on this program they have, because my mom is blind and disabled, okay? And pretty much bedridden. And when my dad passed away about 1.5 years ago, I quit my job. I was a therapist for autistic kids. And I started out, now I take care of my mom 24/7. I get no outside support from family and friends. Very, 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 I don't get help. They have their own lives, their own things going on. And some people just, my relatives, they just have better things to do, I guess. Now, my family, they try to help when they can, but it's like once in a blue moon. You know, like my sister, she's got her own health problems. Excuse me. Yeah, my daughter works full time, and she's a single mother, and, you know, not trying to put her business out there, you know, but they have things that are going on in their life. Now, my daughter does call and talk to my mom all the time. You know, and she's very supportive with my mom, you know, on that. She has been in the store for my mom a couple of times and does things, whatever. And so does my sister. Now, my relatives, and I say my relatives because you got family, you got relatives. No. Okay? So I go nowhere unless I'm going to the store. Every once in a blue moon, I might leave for a couple hours, and that might be maybe maybe in 6 months or something, I might go somewhere. But I one of my very best friends, I still have last year's Christmas gifts to give her, because I haven't been able to go see her. That's how often I get out. Okay? I very rarely talk to anybody. I don't really go nowhere. And I don't really do anything. I do my crafting, I do my podcast to try to keep some of my sanity on top of taking care of my mom. Because I live here with my mom. My bed is in the living room, so I'm close to my mom. So I can hear her, because the bedroom is too far. And when I first started doing this, after my stepdad passed away, I was making $1.25 an hour, if you averaged it out. Take 24 minus the set pay that they gave me. They gave me $30 a day, I believe it was. $30 a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then it got raised, averaged out to $1.61 an hour in June. Then I was like, why am I not getting more money? I'm at a level 1. I guess there's like 3 levels, and I'm at a level 1. Why? My mom's bedridden. So now I can say I'm bougie now. Bougie. I'm rolling in the money. I make $2.07 an hour now. Go me. Yes, I do. $2.07. This is our world today. This is our government. This is our dictation. This is our future. Really. Our elderly, all due respect, our elderly are very seasoned on life. And we all know how I feel about the military. We all know where that is. And then you got my generation, if you will. I'm vintage, by the way. Vintage. Well, some meme said I was classic, but I like to say I'm vintage. And my mom says, well, if you're vintage, what am I? I don't know, antique? I don't know. Both a treasure, right? But anyway, then we have our generation, our younger. And this is the way we're shaping our generation to be. They're going to be so they're going to be so in tune to being electronic. Some people won't even know what a dollar bill even is by the time they get to the point to be old enough to handle money. It's all going to be numbers. Nobody's going to have to carry a wallet or a purse anymore. You're just going to carry your card. And half time you probably won't need to do that if you memorize your number. Or if you just save it in the system, just save it so we don't have to remember it, right? But heaven forbid if somebody can tap into that system and get your information, right? Because then they can wipe out your whole world. Because everything's electronic. So with electronic stuff and technology evolves. People evolve because they learn new things. When you go to the store and you buy a cell phone, let's say over the counter, you can keep your cell phone for 15 days and then return it if you want to. And exchange it for a different phone. You think people don't go there and get those electronic phones, do stuff in them, and then return them, and then look, here you come buying it? And guess what they get to do? They get to get into all of your stuff because maybe they've got hidden software on there that you don't know about. So they just tapped into all of your stuff. Never think about that? It's scary, isn't it? It's scary. And these are things that I think about. Well, some of the things I think about. Some things I think about, I don't even know. But that's a whole different thing. I don't know. I'm scared for this world. I really am. And I say this world, I don't mean just the United States. Because we're all affected. We're all the same. Even though we're different, we're all the same. We're all human beings. We all have to live on this globe, if you will. And we all intertwine with each other. One way or another. You buy things on Amazon. You think Amazon is in their warehouse making that stuff? No. Something's got to go through customs to get to you. That's why it takes so long sometimes. And why you have to pay shipping. It has to go through customs. Guess what? That came from another country. Now, is there something wrong with that? No. There's nothing wrong with us intertwining with other countries because we all need to be united as one. We really do. We all need to understand that we are all in this world, this little round little ball, flat ball, whatever you want to think it is, this little dot between the moon and the sun and all these other planets and stuff, whatever. We're all in the same world. The world doesn't stop at the border. It doesn't. It doesn't stop at your front door. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop in your mind. Because if you're anything like me, your mind doesn't shut up. I always joke and say that my personalities are having meetings without me. And sometimes, I be quiet for a second so that way I can try to hear what they're saying. And I'm joking, but yet I'm not. Because like I said in my other podcast, I believe we all have different personalities. Because we have to be adaptable to the world, but we have to be adaptable to other people. In different situations and scenarios. And our problem with the world today is that we know that there's a problem with the world today, and here we are. Because as human beings, and this is my opinion, okay? As human beings, we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. And we carry problems that are not even ours. So then when it comes to time for our problems to come around, what do we do with them? What do we do with them? Do you put other people's problems down to take care of your own? Or are you like me and you make sure everybody else you put everybody else before you put yourself? And then you feel guilty when you try to do something for yourself, or when you tell somebody no, or when you buy yourself something. Do you ever want something and then you go to buy it, and then before you get to the checkout line, you talk yourself out of it and put it back down? I do that all the time. All the time. But I don't hesitate for somebody else. And like with Christmas coming out, and I know some people don't celebrate Christmas, and that's your decision. But I do. And everybody's like, Santa Claus, this, Santa Claus, that. People are like, Santa Claus isn't real. Little kids like, Santa Claus is. Some kids will want to beat you up over it because Santa Claus is real to them. But you know what? Santa Claus is real. Now, is it the actual Santa Claus? It depends on what your perception is on Santa Claus. Because if you're the type of person that gives to somebody out of the kindness of your heart and tries to make other people happy, aren't you a form of Santa Claus, per se? The term, not necessarily the jolly old Saint Nick himself, but aren't you a form of Santa? Now, maybe you're like, well, I'm his elf, evidently. Really? Are you really his elf? Or are you the one that's being Santa? Or Mrs. Claus? Or whatever? Or does it really matter? Does it really matter if there's a Santa Claus? Can't we just be... Do we really have to have a time of the year to be Santa Claus, per se? Do we have to have a time of the year to be giving and forthcoming and understanding and wanting to bring smiles to other people's faces and coming together as a community and handing out food to the homeless and having dinners and whatnot? Do we have to do that all at one time a year? I mean, why don't we do that every day? Why can't we come together every day? Because all these people that were so hell-bent on, I need to sanitize my cart before I touch it. And yes, there are germs. Don't get me wrong. There are germs. But nobody has a problem now, do they? Per se. How many of you are still gloving up? How many of you are still wearing your mask? How many of you are still not going to events and doing everything virtual? How many of you are working from home still? How many children are still working from school and being home-based? How many are doing virtual with their doctors? How many of them are still worried about the 6 distance, or 6 foot, whatever, or, not giving people hugs? Let me give you a virtual air hug because, don't come near me. How many people are still so 100% hell-bent on that? And how many of you that got the shot still didn't get sick? Or had to get booster shots because the first shot didn't work, because now you need a booster shot, because they had to throw something together to make that shot. And then, you need to go get tested. And before, they shoved that sucker way up in your nose. And I'm telling you, there is a technique. I'm going to say this. I have acid reflux, and I have really bad allergies. And I got post-nasal drip real bad. And I cough a lot. The name of this podcast is really, really fitting for me, if anybody knows me, because I'm all the time coughing and clearing my throat. I really am. But I take a Q-tip. And if I hold my my nasal cavity a certain way. Like with my, if you hold it with your mouth a certain way, it's like a straight shot. And I go up in my nose, to the back of my nose, and I take a Q-tip in there to get all the fluid and stuff that is built up in there and try to get it out so I can breathe, and also clear my air passage. Now, I don't take it all the way up to my brain, which, is the way they made you feel with the corona testing or whatever. Shove it way up in there with them little bristles where you saw, whatever up in there, stars up in your face. Like my mom, when she was in the hospital one time, the nurse came in, and I tell you, I wanted to come up off that chair and come at that woman. Because her bedside manner was ridiculous. My mom is blind. You need to tell my mom what you're doing, for one. Everybody needs to know what's being, if you can see what's being done to you, more or less. When you're blind, you can't see. So out of respect, tell her what you're doing. Especially if you're going to shove something up her nose. But if you're going to shove something up her nose, don't come, just walk in, come behind her, and just take her head, tilt it, and shove it up in there. That's what she did. My mom about came up out of it. You can do damage. You can do damage up in there because it's all connected. But anyway, it went from doing all that to, let me send you a home kit. You just take the swab on the inside of your nose, and just do this a wee bit. Put it up in here, put it on the little thing, and you can do this little testing here. You got a control button, and you got this other thing, and you read it to see if you've got the corona. Or you can mail it in, and your results are only as good as the lab taking the results of the test, by the way. But hey, we don't need to shove it way up in your nose now, because now we know, no pun intended, that that's not necessary. Because they learned at the expense of learning. Because they didn't know what they were doing. Not all of them. So, where does that leave you now? And how many of them kids did you have in your house? You're from China. I still got some sitting in there. Guess who sent those to you, by the way? Guess who sent those them free tests to you through the mail? You got free test kits through the mail. Guess who sent those to you? The government. They sent them to you. Oh, yes, they did. It's just something to think about. And like I said, I've had a lot on my mind these last few days. This has been a very rough week for me. My aunt passed away. Yesterday. Day before yesterday. And, of course, that terrible car accident at the beginning of the week. And I've had a lot on my mind. And getting ready for the holidays. You know how many holidays you've missed out with your family? And this year, and I talked about it in my other podcast, my mom, we're having Thanksgiving. It's just me and my mom. She doesn't want nobody over. She's not up to it. My dad's only been gone a year and a half, and our family is big on huge traditions and dinners and stuff. Big family gatherings. That's the way we've always been. Always been. Back since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And you know what? That doesn't even make sense. Because I'm still knee-high to a lot of people. And if there's a grasshopper that big, I don't know where the heck I'm at, but I must be in Narnia or something, or wherever that place is through the closet. Because that's a whole different world. But I don't know where silly things like that come from. But anyway, so I'm making dinner, and I'm making I'm making a huge feast because my mom and I, and I'll say my mom and I, even though I'm going to be the one cooking, we don't know how to cook just for one or two people. We don't know how to do that because we've always cooked big. So I go to the store and I was like, and we're making this big old shopping list up for me to go get food. She's like, now get turkey. I said, what size turkey you want, Mom? Get the biggest one you can get. Okay, I'll do my best. So the biggest one I could find was a 15 pound. Okay. She's like, that's the biggest one you can find is 15 pounds. Mom, it's me and you. But yes, this is the biggest I got. So I'm going to make turkey, corn casserole. She doesn't like it, but I do. Mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, baked macaroni and cheese, dinner rolls. Let's see, what else did she want? She was talking about potatoes and green beans, but I don't know if we're going to make that or not. What else did she want? Deviled eggs, baked beans. I don't know if I said baked beans already. Then we got 2 pumpkin pies, a chocolate pie, a cherry pie, whipped cream. And it's me and my mom. It's me and my mom. So I'm going to be making this big feast. And I'm going to put the food together. And I like to cook. I like to bake. I do. I always have. I used to get like in baking spurts. I'd get up and I'd just start baking all kinds of stuff. I'd make Reese peanut butter pie and muffins and this, that, and the other. My son would be like, I love when you're in these moods, Mom. I love it. Pineapple upside down cake, whatever. And so I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be making all this food. I'm gonna make her plates, and I say plates plural because I have to have separate plates. I'm the type of person, my food barely touch. I don't like my food really touching, but they have to be in a certain way. And I put my food on the plate as much as I can. And then I have one plate that is dedicated to baked macaroni and cheese. So, that's how I am. And I'm going to make all this. I'm going to take my mom her dinner. I'm going to get out my TV tray. I'll sit in there with my mom as she's laying in her bed and eating from her tray. And I will say my blessings. And that would be my Thanksgiving. And is that okay? Yeah, it's okay. Is that hard for me? Damn straight it is. Because I'm going to look around that room. And even though it'd be like every other day, my mom eating from her tray in her bed. Every once in a while, I eat on a tray or in my lap, or I'll have something to prop my food on, or I'll sit in the dining room at the table and earshot from her, because sometimes it is difficult to eat not at a table. But I have a lot to be thankful for. I really do. And I very much doubt my mom's going to put the tree up this year. I'll be surprised. And I'm not going to push the issue. I understand how that goes. I really do. And I've talked to that before in my last couple podcasts. But my point is, my mom and I might be the only ones sitting at the table per se, but that doesn't mean we're any less thankful for what we have, for what we wish we had, because there's a lot to be thankful for. And you have people that are grieving. And I said before, there's sadness and there's grief. And grief is pretty much love with nowhere to go, with a lot of emotion behind it. And people take their families for granted so much. You always think they're going to be there. You always think that they're going to be, that everybody's going to grow old and die the natural way, and you have time to say goodbye and this. No, you don't. My dad died at 10:30 in the morning. He was up at 10:30 in the morning when my mom making meatballs. Not even 2 hours later, he was gone. Lady lost her life this past week. She was 2 minutes from home, if that. Now that family is burying her the day after Thanksgiving. And if my mom's up to it, I'm going to do my best to go pay my respects to that family. I was blessed enough to meet them, some of them, the other day. Because they came by outside where the accident happened. And I happened to have heard them out there talking. And I went out there and spoke to them. And introduced myself, introduced them to the neighbor that had been able to help the little boy, who, by the way, is doing fine. He's doing better. He's in a back brace and a neck brace for 3 months, I believe she said, and then he does physical therapy. They have to have Thanksgiving together, and the next day bury their loved one. And my aunt passed away a couple days ago. Yesterday, I forget. Time just, today's Monday, I think. Don't take your family for granted. People make mistakes in life, and they do things that they're not proud of. We're not given instruction manuals when we're born. When you're delivered and stuff, the doctor doesn't say, here, this is the instruction manual of your life. I know you're a newborn. Please read this, know this. This is how life is going to be. We're human beings. We all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions. We all screw up. We all have problems. We all have pain. We all have sorrow. We all have hopes and dreams and desires. We've all had crushed dreams and desires. We've all had broken romances. We've all found love and lost it, lost it and then loved it. Everything's something somewhere. But at the end of it all, if you don't value, and sometimes in life, if you don't have the proper way of coping. That's not even what I want to say, because that's not even true. There's no really proper way of really coping, because everything is different. Everyone's different. People live on could have been, should have, ifs, regrets, remorse. Life doesn't come with redos. Life doesn't come with instruction manuals. Life doesn't come with, sometimes it doesn't come with second chances. Sometimes it doesn't come with first chances. But you know what? Life is not even a half a breath from ending for each and every one of us. Regardless of your color, your religion, your nationality, your beliefs, your opinions, your mistakes, your education, your money, your materialistic things, the type of car you drive, your education, despite of all that, we're all one half of a away. Even if we even get that much. And I'm not trying to freak people out, but it's true. It really is true. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I've lost a lot of time in my life, and I've talked about this. Excuse me. I've talked about this before in my other podcasts. Time you can't get back. And it hurts. It really hurts. I saw this meme one time that said something about, and I don't know it verbatim, so something about, by the time I get my life together or something, I'll die the next day, or something of that nature. I don't think we're ever going to have our lives all together. But why does it need to come to that? Sometimes we're so busy on trying to make our lives happen that we forget to live it. And sometimes it hurts to live it that we forget to have a life. Because sometimes living sucks the life right out of us. And our own breaths suffocate us. Have you ever choked on your own breath? And that may sound funny. But I say this. I went to go take a breath earlier. And I started choking. And I was joking with my mom about it. Because anybody knows me. I'm the nutcase in the family. And I told my mom, I said, my other personality just tried to choke me to death. Because I took a breath and my oxygen, my air or whatever got caught, like, I don't know, my other pipe, or I don't know, I took a breath the wrong way, if that's even possible. But I choked. I coughed. And it's funny, but it's not funny, but it is. Well, to me. But this is my mom's entertainment. I'm my mom's entertainment. I don't want to be a half a breath away from being stuck in a world that is trying to kill me as a person, as a human being, morals, um, judgment, lack of understanding, a lot of remorse, a lot of pain, a lot of sorrow. My mom she has a saying, she always said, 100 years from now, it ain't going to matter anyway. You know how true that is, to a point? I saw this thing on Facebook. It said, eventually the home that you have and all the hard things you worked for, sooner or later, all the pictures and snapshots you got, all the things you've made, jobs you've created, whatever, heirlooms, memories, eventually it's going to be irrelevant. It's going to be, your stuff is going to be somebody else's. Your home somebody else is going to buy. Your belongings are going to be somebody else's belongings. Your ancestors are not even going to know who you are, remember you, or even have a picture of you or know any stories about you. Your job may not even exist anymore that you created, your business. All the money that you have saved up and you gave to your family members, it's going to be gone. It's going to be just numbers, or maybe nothing. That big fancy car, that nice bougie house, somebody else is going to own it, or maybe it's going to be in the junkyard, or it's going to be in a destitute and dormant neighborhood that maybe now is big on crime. And where are you? What part of your life did you miss? What part of your life do you still have? And what part of it even matters anymore to anybody? You know how many graves go left undecorated? But you know how many people are not buried? My dad was cremated. My stepdad was cremated. Some of his ashes got spread and some of his ashes are here. My grandson was cremated and buried. I have a necklace with his ashes in it. And the rest are actually in a cemetery buried with a tombstone. My stepsister was cremated. I don't know who has her ashes now. Somebody on her other side, her mom's side of the family, I think. I don't know. Her daughter might. I'm not sure. The point is, what matters and what doesn't matter. I'm not saying that nice things aren't nice, because it is. Hard work. But you have so much hard work. Where does your free time and your playtime come in? How many people go to work and they get off work and they're so tired that they're ready just maybe scarf something down real quick, if that, and they just want to go to bed or go in the recliner and just relax and not do nothing. And then you're so tired because you've run around all day or whatever. And the weekend comes. And then maybe your kids are in sports or something. Or there's a function at the school. But you know what? You go and do that, and then if you go out and do something for yourself, and say, if you have time to, but those are times you're tired and you don't feel like it. You're exhausted, and staying home in your jammies and not doing something, it seems like a vacation. But you got to keep going. I always say, your work's going to have your job posted in the paper faster than your obituary. And people work, and I was worked and went to school. I was guilty of that too, trying to make a life better for my kids and myself. You're trying to go out and make all this money to have a better life. But when do you get a day off to enjoy it? And when you get a day off, do you really get to enjoy it? Because you're tired. And if you go on vacation, don't you need a vacation from your vacation? I always did. I don't know. This is kind of where I'm at tonight. My mind's just going in a lot of places. And I was talking to my sister earlier. And, it's just trying to get ready for the holidays and making gifts. We're making gifts this year. Because I do a lot of art stuff and make stuff and craft stuff and design stuff and whatever. And she's trying to get into that too. So we're like doing tutorials back with each other and learning and whatever. And I'm trying to teach her some stuff. And, we're learning off of each other. But making gifts for the family. And I've come a long way from making gifts last year. Let me tell you, I have. But you know what? That's okay. I don't need to run out and buy something from Black Friday. And I don't even know why they need to call it Black Friday. Everybody wants to get offended. You know what? It's just a lot of malarkey. Why they gotta have one day a year that's this big old freaking deal? You know what? I need a sale all the time. If you can mark things down that dramatic one time a year, seriously. And it's not about necessarily the item. And this is where I think a lot of our generations are getting misconstrued on value. If I make you something, it's not going to be perfect. I guarantee it's not going to be perfect because I'm not perfect. But I took the time to think it through. Trial and error, I assure you, to make that item. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it at all. You can put it in a closet, whatever. Or whatever you want to do with it. The gift wasn't the item, per se. The gift was my time that I took out of my life that I'll never get back to give to you. It was just in a form of a materialistic item. I can't personally just say, here's my time, and give it to you and add time onto your life and your time or whatever. But I'm taking time, even now as I'm talking to you, or talking to this room and whoever's listening. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Because you are taking a part of your life, your time out of your life, and you are dedicating that time to me that you'll never get back. So now an hour and 24 and a half-ish minutes into this, you have dedicated your time to me and I to you. And I don't even know what you look like. I don't know your name. I don't know your race. I don't know your nationality. I don't know what country you're in. I don't know if you're in your pajamas or if you're sitting there naked. I don't know. All I know is I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you. Because I know that if you took a moment of your life to give to me, that is the most priceless thing anybody can do. And you don't even know me. Well, you might know me. I don't know if you do or not, because I don't know who's on the other end. All I see are these little squiggler marks on my computer with the time going by, and my little cursor for my mouse pad, and time ticker thing down at the bottom, and all of my little icons and whatnot. But I don't know who you are. From my end, I don't know who's listening. But when I tell you this all to your face, yeah. Does it matter? It always matters. You know why? Because your time and my time, even if we're on different time zones, our time zones don't separate the time in our lives that we have. Our lives don't end based off of time zones. If that makes sense. You know, Destiny doesn't say, oh, well, wait a minute. We're on daylight savings time. We have to wait until they change the clock back till that one comes. Hey. No, it doesn't work like that, people. Sorry, my other personalities are coming out. I do imitational voices. I told you this is my mom's entertainment. I'll talk British to her sometime. Sometimes or whatever, and sometimes it changes. And anyway, my point is, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate people I don't know. I give to people I don't know. I respect people I don't know. I feel for people I don't know. I cry for people I don't know. I even mourn for people I don't know. And I try to understand people I don't know. I try to understand other people more than I try to understand myself, because I give my own self a headache. But that's a part of your life right now that I appreciate very much, that you have dedicated to me. And I pray that I pray that you valued your time well spent. And I always say that, I had this saying, to put it in God's hands. And I know some people don't believe in God, but I do. And I try my best to put things in God's hands. But then I remember God gave me two hands for a reason. He gave me tools. He gave me tools to learn from, utilize, and he also taught me how to be one of those tools for other people, as well as myself. There is a lot of things in the world that we have evolved to because we were given the ability to have tools to do so. However, don't forget where those tools originally came from. And you know, everybody lives in their own world. That's your mind. Your mind is your world. The rest is the universe. Universal. Universal, interchangeable, compatible. That's what we need to be. And that makes one. The trees blow for a reason. And they give off oxygen. Excuse me. Our trees have roots. They have to have roots to grow. So do our families. We have to have roots in our family foundation. They have to be nurtured. They have to be taken care of. They have to be respected. They have to be fed. They have to be able to regenerate and populate. And if we cut off the oxygen to our families, to our roots, to our nourishment, to our growth, and we deplenish, I don't know if deplenish is the word, but I'm going to make it one. Deplete, that's the word I'm looking for. If we deplete, I don't know, deplenish sounds a little bit better, but anyway, if we take away all of that, then our oxygen of our family roots dies. And if our oxygen from our family roots die, then so do we. And then we have nothing left. We have no time to give. We have no opinions to be made. We have no things to be taught. We have no things to enjoy. We have no things to cherish. And we have nothing to carry on. And you know what happens? We end. We die. We're gone. And there's nothing left. And that tree, that root that once stood, that beautiful flourished family tree, doesn't even have enough anymore to even have a seed to regenerate and grow again. Where does that leave us? The holidays are coming up. But you know what? Life happens every day. We don't need a holiday. Why do we need a holiday? To celebrate. something we should already celebrate anyway. And you know, some people don't believe in God, they believe in evolution. I believe in both, and I've said this before. It all started somewhere. And I believe in God. But I believe in evolution, because we evolve every day. We're so busy taking God out of our nation, out of our lives, out of our well-being and our mentality. Always worried about everything else but what we need to worry about. Because in the end of it all, it matters. And would it hurt to believe in something you can't see? You can play Santa Claus. And some even try to play God. But you know what? Even God had disciples. God has angels. But a God also has you. Just like Santa Claus has elves, but not the same thing. But does it hurt to be giving? Does it hurt to be thoughtful? Does it hurt to be a good person? Does it hurt to do the right things? Is it going to hurt you to have faith? Or does it hurt not to? Do you really want to take that chance? And I don't want to sound like I'm at a church sermon and get ready to invite everybody up for repentance and, you know, like they do or whatever. But it's something to think about. It really is. There are two things in life that are real. Death and taxes. And there's something beautiful and scary out of that. Because death is God. Taxes is the government. You have the government versus taxes. How dare the government try to verse God? They always say you don't talk about politics and religion. Please. That's what's wrong with this country. Too many dictators where they don't belong, trying to take out things that are none of their business, that they need more of. In my opinion. But anyway, this has been my night. This has been my day. This was my week. This has been me. And I do pray for my own sanity, because I drive myself crazy. But anyway, this has been me raw. Pretty much no script, just open talking, things that are on my mind, things I think about. This is what goes on in my head, some of the things that go on in my head. And like I said, I'm not trying to hurt anybody or offend anybody. This is just me. And people always say, you know, be yourself, be yourself. But you know what? I try to be myself, and then people don't like me. But then, why should I act like something I'm not? Because then I'm not being true to myself, and then I don't like myself in the end, right? And why do I need to be what everybody else wants me to be? Because they say to? Who are they? What gave them that right? Where did they get off being the ones to define what's right and what's wrong, and what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I believe in, what I shouldn't believe in? Who are they to dictate my life? Because at the end of my life, when I'm laying up in that casket, it's my life over, not theirs. It's mine. It was my last breath that I can never get back. So there's that. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that's taking their time out to listen to me. And sometimes I ramble on. Sometimes I don't make sense. And sometimes I get caught up in my conversation that I might come off a little bit too strong. But I don't ever go out of my way to personally be vindictive or hurt anybody. I really don't. That's just not in my nature. So anyway, I'm going to end this because for when I go check on my mother. And it's getting late. But yeah. So anyway, thank you to everybody. And obviously, I hope everybody has a safe and blessed Thanksgiving. And you take the time out to give your blessings. Count your blessings. And remember, you are a blessing. Even if you are the last twig on your tree, per se. Sometimes some trees can be regenerated in different directions. You can get starters off of trees or whatever, try to regrow. And sometimes, if you're like me, because I'm not a green thumb, which is really another really silly saying. Where do we get a green thumb? Is that we work out in the garden and you're doing grass and not doing grass, but like I don't know, you get a green thumb by trying to do planting and gardening and whatever. I mean, that's just a weird saying. But anyway, if you're like me and you don't have a green thumb, there's some really beautiful flowers and plants and artificial devices, if you will, that make some very beautiful things. And sometimes it's okay to remember that, if that makes sense to you. I know what I mean in my head, but sometimes I don't explain myself probably accurately to where it's understood sometimes by others, even though my mind knows what I mean doesn't mean that my mouth knows how to say it, if that makes sense. Thank you again for joining me today, whatever time of day it is for you. And I hope you have a very safe and blessed Thanksgiving. But I also pray that you have a very safe and blessed life. Not just at a holiday, but every day that you get a chance. Because every day ends in Y. except tomorrow. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yesterday, and today all end in Y. Tomorrow doesn't. Anyway, this is Dee, and you have been listening to my podcast. This is me, just raw, talking. I don't really even have a title. I'll think of some title to name it, so that way I can post it and publish it on the thing. But this is what you get. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Have a safe and blessed evening. Good night.